All right, so we are live, Ashfaq. So how are you doing,
Okay.
Ashfaq?
I'm all good. Thank you very much. How are you, Faizan?
Doing good, Ashfaq. So we've met again. I think the last time we met, I think was in an audio event,
Yes.
and
Through Swati. Like,
through
yeah.
Swati. Yes, yes,
Yeah, through Swati Kiran's audio event. Yeah, of course.
correct,
And
correct.
through that, we connected, and yeah.
Yes, yes. We also got an opportunity to meet each other, and
Yes.
then this happened. Great.
Yes.
So, so Ashfaq, could you tell me like a little about what you do for the audience?
Okay. So, over the last couple of years, I've done a lot of things, but yeah, coming to the present scenario, like I'm a career coach. I've been helping students across India and the world to get in the best, companies through different strategies. I call it as a job hunting skills, and that's the topic for the day. Job hunting skills for freshers. That's one which I've been really good at. And over the last 10 years, I think I've trained around 1 lakh plus students. And right now, I've started one more company that's called as Elevate Learning Private Limited, and that we are more into again much more focused towards placements for freshers, especially through job hunting or technical trainings and all that. And apart from that, I'm also into the corporate training, like team building, leadership, and public speaking. That is that is also one of my fortes. That is public speaking. So
Correct.
yeah, this is about me, Faizan. Yeah.
Right. Great, great, Ashfaq. So, so you mentioned or from what I know that you also go to colleges and
Yes.
you train students on say different skills. It could be communication or it could be aptitude, technical, all of these skills. So
Yes.
if you could give or probably throw some insights as to what you do exactly in colleges, if you could give me some details there.
Okay, especially for colleges, we take up the entire campus to corporate training sessions. Right from there are three four segments which we train our company trains on. One is soft skills. In that soft skills itself, there's a lot of things coming like interview preparation, resume, group discussions, and all that. And apart from that, there's something called as quantitative aptitude. We have different trainers who come and train students on aptitude training, and apart from that, verbal ability and also technical training. So this is a combination. This is a package we provide to the colleges, so that the students are completely ready, right from a written aptitude test till the last stage of interview, and they come out of the with the offer letter. So that's the entire thing. And majorly, like especially in my company, the sessions are designed in such a way that every session, any college, I'm the first person to take that session, which will happen in a very big auditorium, bringing all the students, whether it's 500,000 or 2,000 people. And for the first 2 hours, I'll be interacting with them, and then my team of trainers will take over for a period of 40 hours to 80 hours in a span of 1 week to 15 days. So, yeah, that's the process which we follow.
Nice, nice. So it goes up to 1 week or even 2 weeks in an
Yeah,
same college.
there are some colleges where we are tied up for over a period of semester, or like for the entire 3 to 4 years. For engineering, there are colleges where we start training the students from first year, right from communication skills and how to present themselves. From there, and then eventually we go to aptitude, then go to interview cracking and all that. So from first semester, we might be hand holding those students till sixth semester or seventh semester till they get placed.
Right.
So that is also there. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So, like diving deep into this, like diving more deep into this, I would like to ask, like as you mentioned, first 2 hours, you are the one who takes it over the first 2 hours.
Yes.
So, what
Yes.
do you address in those first 2 hours?
Well, that's a very good question. I didn't expect that, but yeah. So here's the thing. I have also gone through engineering. I was not placed for the initial days. I got rejected multiple times. So I pitch or I talk to students in a very different way. It's a storytelling technique which I use. And for the first 2 hours, I tell them the importance of why we are doing all this.
Correct.
Whether it is right from the verbal ability which we're going to train them, or quantitative aptitude, why we are doing this. And in short, I ask them to figure out strategies which I was not able to figure out, and I give them different strategies. So there are, I connect, these four stages in campus placements. The first stage is obviously the written test. The second stage is group discussion. The third stage is technical interview, and the fourth stage is this one, HR interview. Like you are good in this, HR. So these are the four stages. I compare these four stages to different aspects. Like let's just say I compare these to, let's just say a committed relationship getting into a marriage, like a couple getting into a marriage. The four stages for them are: first is like engagement, या फिर उससे पहले there'll be something called as roka, they call in Hindi, like the initial meetup. Second is engagement. Third is marriage, and fourth is reception. So same stages here. So if you mess up even in one stage,
Right.
you will, if you mess up even in one stage, people will remember for the rest of their life. Same thing happens in the, this campus training. So if you mess up even in one stage, whether it's group discussion or aptitude, the career, your journey will be, in a different direction altogether. So yeah, that's how. And there are a lot of things. I think I should, I should do a live stream for that session. That will be really wonderful.
Definitely.
But yeah, this is how, I give some examples, and later, I give my own story. I studied in Ramaya.
Correct.
And I had my own, reflections. So I share all those things.
Right.
So yeah,
Okay. Great. And okay, so what are the challenges you see, Ashfaq, like while you do such say college events? What are some challenges you see? It could be in terms of for freshers. Like what are some challenges that freshers see? Are there some kind of common queries that freshers come up with? Have you do you have any observations on those lines? I'd like to ask.
Yes, like there are a lot of common challenges which students face. The first one is obviously, see, every student is interested. They have different interests, even if they are doing like a particular for engineering students. If they are doing any specific domain like AIML or or data science or anything as such, again in that domain they have different sub or topics. For MBA students, it's different, like HR, marketing, finance, and all these challenges.
Correct.
So the first step which students usually face here is, clarity.
Correct.
Clarity in terms of which direction to go to. Because see, even in computer science, there's a lot of domains right now. There's subdomains, there's cybersecurity, there's AML, data science, all those things.
Correct.
किस पे जाओ, like किस तरफ जाओ? And even if I choose cybersecurity or one specific domain, and in that there are sub-domains. Like for example, in cybersecurity, there are multiple aspects.
Correct.
Even in HR,
Correct.
like I'm sure you can speak a lot about it. Like right from the being a recruiter or managing the payroll or L&D department. So this is what a lot of students face a challenge. One is the clarity and the direction, which direction to go. This is the first thing. And if this is sorted, the rest of the career journey is going to be really amazing. But if this is not sorted, that means this should be sorted not by looking at the market demand, what is working right now. What do you feel within? What is your intuition saying? Like, where should I go? And if you choose according to that, I think you'll stick to that career for a long duration. Or else, obviously, if you stick to the market dynamics, आजकल ये ज़माने में बहुत scope है. After 3-4 years, the scope will go down, and you will also go down in your career, and that's not going to work.
Correct.
So yes, Faizan. So this is the clarity. Second thing here is, once the clarity is done, implementation. Like here, okay, for example, I choose marketing for MBA student. I need to do internships, projects, everything in marketing itself.
Correct.
But what happens here is, I've seen students, like even though they have chosen marketing, but they get some other internships from other space, like maybe HR internship. So it doesn't make sense. You choose marketing as a field, but getting a HR internship doesn't make sense. Or doing a project, something which is not directly related to the field you're choosing. So sticking to the entire, building that entire pipeline so that your resume becomes perfect, solid for the recruiter to see. Wow,
Correct.
This person has gone through so much in this domain, and that adds value, and that's when you get selected with the bigger packages.
Correct.
So
Correct.
yeah, Faizan, these are the things. And apart from that, coming to the resume part, students face difficulty in resume part, even though we have a lot of AI tools. I can use so many AI tools right now. I think students can easily get it online. But even if you have an AI tool building your resume, there has to be a human touch.
Correct. Correct.
So, Faizan, I have a question since you are a recruiter, okay? Let us bring it forward, like, in front of everyone. Since you are a
Sure.
recruiter,
Mm-hmm.
if I give you a resume which has been, like, drafted through AI,
Correct.
you know the difference or not?
Yes, I think it will be like somewhat robotic. I'll come to know, okay, acha, theek hai, this is not probably prepared by a human. So I totally resonate with you. There should be a human touch, 100%, so that people or probably a recruiter should come to know that it has been prepared by the person himself. And
Yes.
I think there are certain situations where people ask, or probably candidates borrow resumes from their friends, or it could be someone else, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't even change their, I think, date of birth and father's name. And
Yes.
you might be able to relate to this. And the other point you mentioned about clarity, so even I've struggled a lot with clarity. So even I
Mhm.
didn't have anyone who would mentor me when I graduated. In fact, I think for 2 years after my graduation, I was searching for a job. I didn't have a clarity. And
Okay.
I think one of the consultancies suggested that why don't you try for HR. I was like, "ठीक है, चलो, I don't have anything else, so I'll try HR." And I went ahead, and I've been continuously been into the HR. Probably you can say particularly into recruitment for the past six years. And I always say this, that I'm not a recruiter by choice. I'm a recruiter by chance. So
Hmm.
I'm still continuing, but yeah, there are other plans for future. Let's see what happens. And I think another point you mentioned about the resume, a very important point. Candidates have to do internship. You mentioned, say if someone is
Yes.
from marketing, they have to do from marketing itself. So I have observed this a lot. So I've heard this from a few candidates. They would say that I'm just exploring, I don't know which specialization or which path to choose, and that's why I'm doing
Yes.
all these internships. So this is one thing which I've heard a lot from candidates. So they try to explore, probably do internships in HR, it could be in finance, it could be in marketing, and then they would choose. So I thought,
Yes.
okay, even that is okay, that's also fine. But better would be if you do or if you have a clarity. I think candidates, I think even after their graduation, they don't have a clarity as to with
Right.
which path they have to choose. So I think that
Yes.
is that's even I can relate to that. So choosing a career is like really tough, according to me also. And I totally resonate to that. And okay, and coming to freshers, Ashfaq, so are there any say job hunting, say you can say job hunting tricks, or any tricks or tips you would like to give to the freshers? It could be through Naukri, LinkedIn, or any other medium.
Yes, there are a lot of strategies which I share, like, right from, let's just, divide this into three, four parts.
Sure.
Let's start from, why do HRs, or why do companies conduct different, rounds, right from
Right.
maybe, aptitude round,
Hmm.
group discussion, technical interview, and HR interview. Now, technical and HR has been clubbed. So it is either three or four rounds.
Correct.
Okay. So the starting here is obviously the first round here is a written aptitude test. And why do they conduct this? Is because they just want to check. Most of us hate maths. In fact, even I was not able to create a lot of initial tests, the quantitative aptitude one.
Right.
So they just want to check, like, how rational you are, how the signals between your neurons go faster. That's it. So whether you like it or not, whether you hate maths or not, uh, you need to learn to crack this. That's the first step. Okay.
Correct.
And whether, like, just like how we used to take extra tuitions and all these things for the subjects which we're not really good at in school, same thing you have to do. If possible, try to get a tutor right from the second or third semester for yourself. If you're not able to get a focused, approach from college or any training, organization. That's one.
Correct.
Second thing here is group discussion. See, there's group discussion, there's technical interview, and there's a HR.
Correct.
Okay, and in these three stages also, there's one common aspect, and that common aspect here is you need to speak.
Correct.
That means in group discussion, okay, you need to be so well, like, you need to be so strategic, and you need to be speaking so well that everyone should, when you start speaking, everyone should just and listen to you. And in the public speaking industry, there's a saying which goes like this, okay? The moment you open your mouth, you show the world who you are.
Correct.
Okay, I'll repeat this. The moment you open your mouth, you show the world who you are.
Correct.
So once you start speaking, if everyone just keeps quiet, that's when you have won the GP.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so that's the second stage. Like, so our voice, is the most powerful weapon which we have got, and through our voice, we can influence people to listen to us.
Correct.
And you can see any leader on this planet, whether a politician or CEO or any person, they just know how to use one particular gift which we have been blessed with, and that is our voice.
Correct.
And in group discussion, if you are able to speak well with body language, expressions, and tone and all that, I think you're going to win that for sure. Okay.
Correct. Correct.
And the same one more quote here goes like this: the more people listen to you, the more people listen to you, the more they respect you. And once they start respecting you, they will do whatever you want them to do.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct.
So you should make yourself so influential that people just keep quiet and listen to you more and more.
Correct.
Indeed. Okay. So that is the second stage. Now, third stage is obviously technical interview. So whether you have done your MBA or engineering or MCA, BCA, whatever field you have chosen for yourself, the reason why technical interview is conducted is just to make sure that to see how committed you are to the stream which you have chosen for yourself, and spend 3 to 5 years of your life in that.
Correct.
And if you're not able to rock that interview, then you literally wasted 3 to 5 years of your life. So if you're wasted 3 to 5 years of your life and not able to answer technical questions, how I can come to my organization and work on my projects and be productive.
Correct.
So that's a relation. I think even a lot of students ask this question: why do they check our marks? Why percentage is important? Okay. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you don't have to be a 99.9% scorer or anything, like at least to a certain extent that you're really good at certain things. So why do they check? I am sure you agree with this, Fazan, that we usually check percentage because to see how committed you were to what you have chosen.
Correct.
We don't expect 90% there. We just expect a borderline 70%, 75%. So it shows that you are committed to that.
Correct.
So that is the second thing. Now, and again, when it comes to technical interview, you can. There's a lot of strategic way to win that technical interview, and that starts with resume.
Right.
That starts with resume. And I'm sure, like, you agree with me, Faizan, like, as a recruiter, when a recruiter is sitting down and looking at the resume of a candidate, it's like a question paper.
Correct.
Okay, you have done internship here. Tell me more about it.
Correct.
Okay, why did you score less in 12th standard?
Correct.
Or why do you say that you are really good in this? So in short, as a student, you yourself have prepared a question paper, and you also know the answers.
Correct.
The recruiter is just a person who is checking.
Correct. Correct.
And that's what students need to understand. Not just students, every professional, that
Hmm.
you have prepared the question paper for yourself, and the answer also you know. Is just the recruiter who's trying to figure out ki, if this person is good or not.
Correct.
And in this also, I think I'm sure like the way people speak,
Hmm.
recruiters, including you, might get impressed because of the tone, body language, and expressions more
Correct.
than the technical way of dealing with things.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then coming to the final round, the fourth round is the HR round.
Hmm.
So we need to have a discussion on this. Obviously, I'll ask you some questions. But coming to the HR round, like, let me tell you a funny incident. Like,
Hmm.
even though I'm teaching, like, I'm a career coach, I have so many students now. During my college days, I have got rejected in HR round as well. Now, why do we get rejected in HR round is because obviously we check, a candidate's personality.
Correct.
So the questions are basic. Tell me about yourself. Where do you see yourself in next 5 years? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses?
Correct.
And some basic questions. And if you're not able to answer this, tell me about yourself question for even a 2 minutes, like for continuously 2 minutes,
Correct.
then what's the point of doing all this, isn't it?
Correct.
If
Correct.
you're not able to tell about yourself like in a very beautiful expression and energy and enthusiasm, then you have just wasted 20 years of your own life in
Correct.
education system.
Correct.
So these are the basic questions. And also in this HR interview, I need to ask you this. Most of the students sometimes are not clear. Because of that, they might say,
Hmm.
after 2 years of experience, I want to go and do MBA.
Okay.
So, Faizan, I want to ask you, if
Hmm.
a student or a candidate says like this, will you hire this candidate?
Mostly, we wouldn't, and the
Uh-huh.
reason being, it would be stability issue according to us. And I
Yeah.
don't know why I
Okay.
gave this answer. Probably I've been trained like this, trained this way.
Uh-huh.
So usually, if say if the candidate, if I'm able to persuade the candidate, I would say, ask them to not answer that way. I would say
Yeah.
probably, tell something else, or probably not mention about your MBA plan. So that's something, I keep telling candidates. If because when I meet any candidate, from the 6 years, what I've been observing, I can come to know if the candidate is nervous, the
Mhm.
candidate is confident, or whether they are lying, whether they are truthful. So I can come to know that, when they are talking. So if I think they are truthful and they need some, a good suggestion, I go ahead and give them this suggestion, like, don't say this in your next round. I'm someone who's very lenient, so I am not very
Yeah.
strict at all. So I like to process candidates as much as I can. So I try to help
Yeah.
candidates that way. If And in terms of salary also, I've seen candidates quote a very less salary. So I say them, don't tell this, don't quote this salary, quote probably a higher salary, because we have the
Yeah.
budget. So I try to do that also. And yeah, so I think, I was able to, I'm not sure if I was able to answer your question.
No, I mean that's what I mean. I want everyone to note here. Like as
Correct.
Faizan is also a HR,
Correct.
let me tell
Correct.
you for all the freshers here who are watching
Mhm.
this, please hide some intentions. Like please hide something
Hmm.
which you want to do 2 years or 3 years down the line. Because right now you are in front of an opportunity, and you're blocking your own opportunity by saying that my intent is to leave this company after 2 years and join MBA.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
So as you said, Faizan, like I think HRs are trained or they know this, from within that. Okay, this person might not stick. So why to waste our money? Why to waste this opportunity? Let's give it for someone else.
Correct, correct. And the other question, which is asked in the HR on, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Even that is a kind of a trick question to understand, the long term plan of a candidate. So
Yes.
usually candidates would say, like, it could be about their higher studies, or it could be that, I want to be in your position. They would say, like, a manager, I would like to be a manager after 5 years. And so also I think, Yeah, I think these are a few answers, but this is a very trick question. So the candidate has to make sure they stick on to, or probably they mention that they would be in that same industry, and probably in that same job after 5 years also. So
Yes.
that's also something which I usually tell candidates, if usually if they are freshers. So I try to tell them this if they are making mistakes. So even
Yes.
I think that's one another thing, Ashwak, which I try to train. So even I've been there. So I mentioned 2 years I was jobless. That was because I was not able to clear HR rounds at all. So I
Hmm.
was very low in confidence, for those 2 years. So I used to be very
Yes.
cool, in college. I would be like, ठीक है यार, job मिल जाएगी, कुछ ना कुछ हो जाएगा. And once I
We
graduated,
all have been there. Like, and I'm sure some freshers who are watching this, they have this oh confidence ki ho jayega kuch na kuch. But the moment we hit the road,
oh
come
my,
into the market, that's when that's when things happen.
right, right.
Yes,
So
Faizan, tell
so
me.
reality hit me so hard. I was like, भाई job क्यों नहीं मिल रहा है? I was so at my place. They said BPO is not an option for me. Customer support BPO. So like,
Hmm.
ठीक है. And I had done my specialization in marketing, and I didn't even know M of marketing, to be honest. कुछ पढ़ा नहीं था. I just used to bunk college, and here I was interviewing for marketing roles and for sales roles. And I used to be an introvert, तो sales roles के लिए I don't know, I used to get nervous. खाली sales का नाम सुनते ही I used to get nervous. So I was like, I don't know how
Hmm.
I'll clear this interview. Then I think after one and a half year, I was like, I don't have any other option. I'll try for BPO only. I tried BPO, me also I got rejected, and finally one HR opportunity out of nowhere, and that's what I've sticked on to. So that was my journey, Ashfaq, and
Interesting.
so
So I just want to tell all the users here, like all the listeners here, as Faizan said, like tell me where do you see yourself in next 5 years? They just want to check, how ambitious you are.
hmm,
Like if you're not ambitious, like at least come up with an interesting answer for this. And telling this in your position is a very wrong approach. I've seen students do that. So please don't say that. In fact, they just want to check, ki, are you going to stick with this company? And in fact, this same question can be, turned into a discussion.
correct,
Like you can ask this, like okay, I really want to stick to this company because I love this company. I heard a lot about this company,
correct.
and I just want to know, like, if I stick to this company for 5 years in particular project which you are putting me in,
Mm-hmm.
which position will I reach?
Correct.
And that becomes a discussion. So instead of questioning, it becomes a discussion. That's also a powerful tactic.
Correct.
And only do this if you're a confident
Hmm.
communicator. Don't do
Correct.
this if you're, if you're not really great in communication. So yeah, this is one of the
Correct.
strategies.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
Faizan.
Absolutely. And I think we've got a few questions, so we'll just look into some questions and see if we could just answer a few questions.
Okay.
Hi to the best creators. Swati has messaged saying hi to the best creators,
Mm-hmm.
to us, Ashfaq and Faizan.
Okay.
Okay, I got a chance there. Okay, so there's one question. I got a referral and got a call from a HR. HR said that they will get back to me after profile review. In this case, how can I reach out to them after 20 days? Can I call them for update?
Okay. So should I answer this or you'll answer this, Faizan?
Yes, yes, you can answer it.
Okay. So first thing, do you know the person's name? Like the question was asking to.
It's Shamna. Shamna.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, Shamna, let me tell you this. Yes, that's an interesting question, and yes, you need to ask this question. I need to find a way for this. So the strategic way to figure this out, when to approach, when to ask, they'll get back to you, all those things. See, as an organization, as a HR department, obviously a lot of things are happening. A lot of people are going through interviews, a lot of selection procedures, a lot of parameters, a lot of things. So they might be busy in that process. So you need to understand that. That's one. Second thing here is, after maybe, during the interview itself, especially during the HR interview, I would rather say, uh, you need to ask, sometimes I have seen this, students don't ask the recruiter's name. Okay. Or they don't ask this follow-up questions. You can always ask the recruiter's name. And what happens here is, the moment you get the recruiter's name, for example, Faizan is a recruiter, and if he has come to your college, you just take his name. While going outside the interview cabin, just send a connection request with a LinkedIn note saying, it was wonderful talking to you, Mr. Faizan, and I had a great opportunity to showcase my skills in the interview. I'm looking forward to hearing a positive response and working with you in the same organization. So you just do this within 10 15 minutes of finishing that interview. You will always remain in Faizan's mind. Why? Because you've created a recall value.
Correct. Absolutely.
So that's one strategy. Second strategy here is, after 2-3 days, you need to again follow up, with Faizan, saying, okay, so Mr. Faizan, it was really a pleasure. If there's any other thing, any other information which you need, based on my profile, I would always be open to answer this, or send more information about this on the second or third day. And that's when you build a follow-up system. It's like a funnel creation for how marketing companies create this funnels, right? So same thing, as a student, as a job seeker, you need to be strategic about the funnels. You need to create a funnel for email, for LinkedIn. If you have got the person's phone number, that's again, you should not disturb them. You should make sure you send a message and then proceed ahead. But LinkedIn is the right place, and email is the right proper way to do things. So yes, you need to follow up. After 20 days, it's a really good time to check, because you can also mention that I'm really curious to join this organization. I've been waiting, I've been excited, but at the same time, this pressure is not allowing me to get into any other interviews for any other companies. Create some kind of FOMO, create some kind of proper text content, and then send the email. And I'm sure if the recruiter has seen your email, based on the way you have written and the subject line you put, they are bound to reply.
Absolutely, I totally agree to it, Ashfaq. Also, there would be situations, and I've worked with Accenture previously. So there, I would say that there used to be a high pressure in terms of achieving our numbers. So that
Yes.
way, I know this was not a very good practice. I couldn't reach out to rejected candidates.
Yes.
But it would be a good practice. Now that my numbers are less, I make sure I reach out to even rejected candidates. But when I was with Accenture, it used to be very difficult to reach out to each and every person. So I just
Absolutely.
want to give my point or show my perspective also, that we would have huge numbers to target, and at times we would miss out. So
Yes.
also HR's ghost candidates. So if you are a victim of this, that
Ghosting,
means
yeah.
that means you've been rejected. High chances that
Yeah.
you've been rejected. So I
Yes.
think that's
So, adding to that, Fazan, let me give a perspective, to all the audience here.
right.
See, as Faizan mentioned, he was working in Accenture. There were a lot of numbers to proceed ahead. Every company, every department will have certain numbers to hit. For example, as a HR, I'm sure the HR department would have reached out to, maybe we need to hire 10,000 candidates this quarter or
Correct.
this year. And because of so much numbers and so many people we have interviewed, we might lose track of it.
Correct.
So that's why a lot of HRs goes. And look at the time here. Imagine going through so many resumes and talking to so many people. How will I, remember whom I have rejected? So please be aware of this. Maybe after 1 or 1.5 months, you also need to let go as a candidate. If I'm not got a response, I have to let it go. So,
Correct.
that's a basic common sense to understand. We can't blame the HRs also. The job is very difficult. At the same time, as a candidate, you also need to understand that you need to move on and
Correct.
find a different opportunity. So
Correct.
that's the first thing. Second thing here is obviously, uh, I'm sure, for one, let's just say the target is 100 candidates to be hired.
Hmm.
Faizan will know this answer for sure. To hire 100 candidates, we might have to go through, maybe 3,000 to 5,000 candidates screening, right from resumes to group discussions to interviews and all that, to get
Correct.
the best 100 candidates. So just
Absolutely.
imagine the filtering down system. So please understand this process as a job seeker.
Correct.
So yeah, this is the something which I wanted to say for that.
Right, right. And also I'd like to add here, so if say we are posting jobs, there would be like a lot of applications, especially if it's a bigger organization. So I totally understand that there are many eligible candidates, but then if the requirement is, or the positions are only say 5 or 10, I would be able to, or even I would have limitations that I can just probably review, say out of 1,000 applications, max, at max I would be able to reach around 200-300 or 400, 500 at max, not beyond that.
Yes.
So there would be high chances that the rest are unattended. So even there would be instances where I would not be able to reach out to such candidates.
Yes.
But for freshers, I think there would be high competition. And what I usually tell freshers is that keep applying for jobs. I just keep telling
Yeah.
them, so that your chances of getting interview calls increases. that's
Yes.
that's something I tell them. And if you have something, if you have any improvisations here, Ashfaq, if you'd like to tell something for freshers here.
Yes, of course. See, obviously, as Fazan said, if HR department receives 1,000 applications, and not able to go through all the 1,000 applications, so as a fresher, you need to be proactive. You need to have certain set of goals. Okay,
Correct.
as an individual who's looking for a job, you need to have at least 10 companies in your target. Like
Correct.
how HRs have a target to
Hmm.
reach hundreds candidates for that quarter.
Hmm.
Similarly, as an individual, you also need to have a target.
Hmm.
If I want to get a job, I need to focus on these 10 companies.
Correct.
Okay. And only after you filter on these 10 companies, then you start applying, reaching out. So the best strategic way, as you mentioned, 500, 1,000 candidates, only 500 applications are filtered. The strategic way here is keep, connecting with different people, especially in these top 10 companies where you want to work. That's
Correct.
one. Second thing here is the strategic way here is either resume. Your
Hmm.
resume is the only strategic way, or the emails or the subject lines which you have written. That
Correct.
is the only strategic way, or the LinkedIn connection or the LinkedIn note which you have sent. These are the strategic ways to stand out.
Correct.
Okay, or else you'll be lost into the system. And I'm sure, Faizan will talk about this, but for your resume screening these days, ATS is their application tracking system. So this software scans your entire resume and then only sends to the recruiters. So you
Correct.
need to be very well, be strategic, at the same time use this technical skills,
Hmm.
use specific words from the job description, pick them up and put that in the resume, so that your resume is scanned well and it reaches to the recruiter. Okay,
Absolutely.
but if you're lazy, I have also seen this. Faizan also said that if you're lazy and if you just copy paste the same resume from your friend thing and the same date of birth, all these things, then I'm sure you're going to struggle to get a job for 6 to 8 months also. But if you're
Correct.
strategic like this, I think it's a matter of 3 to 6 months. And always for freshers, I have one really important thing to say here is this:
Mhm.
you are not going to get a job immediately within 20 days or 30 days.
Absolutely.
Okay, just because you graduated and within 30 days you think that you're going to get a job, no. Yeah, sometimes people get lucky, but
Hmm.
90% of the people don't get a job if they're not placed in the campus once they come
Correct.
out of the college. So you need to be, prepared in your mind. The mindset should be that it's going to take me 3 months of applying, getting rejected, applying, interviews, getting rejected, and then out of these 10 companies, I might get into one company. So you need to give a time frame. So
Correct.
don't run in your mind ki, I've graduated, I'm really, I scored well, I've done internships. Now some company, I deserve this, and some company should hire this. ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है. It's not going to happen. You need to be really logical about this. Consider this as a sales strategy.
Correct.
Like in the sales game, there's a thing which goes on. Like, if you reach out to, if you need one customer, you need to reach out to 10 to 50 customers through phone calls, cold calling, and all this.
Correct. Correct.
Same thing for you as a student, as a job candidate. Okay, if you need one job, you need to apply to 10 to 50 jobs and be ready to go through that process of sales. So whether you like sales or not, you are going to sell yourself.
Correct.
And you are the product.
Exactly. Very, very well said, Ashfak.
Yes.
Great. So let's see if we've got. I think there are many questions we've got. Let's see if we can take down some interesting questions.
Okay.
Okay. So one person has mentioned psychometric tests are nowadays being adopted. Please add a few words on this part.
Okay, Fazan, you want to say about this, or should I?
You can tell. I don't have much knowledge about psychometric. I've not been part of any psychometric, like very less, you can say. So I wouldn't have much knowledge. So you can go ahead. You can tell, Ashfaq.
Okay. So coming to the psychometric test here, like, there are different strategies which different companies, organizations use. Why? Because they want to, make sure the filtering down process is very strong, so that they don't have to let go of that person, or they don't have to deal with someone who is not proper in terms of the technical requirements. So that's why all this different aspects, different recruiting strategies have been used, whether it's psychometric test, or these days, in fact, I think last year Accenture asked the fresher candidates to play Accenture, or I don't know which company, they asked them to play this Sudoku or chess online, and only if you win, you go to the next round. So look at the way companies are filtering down the process. So you need to be very, very knowledgeable. At the same time, you need to understand or follow certain HR pages, so that you know what is happening. And these days, something called as HR tech. Okay, so I'm in a discussion with one of the companies where they use AI and video interviewing process. So based on the way you look at the camera, based on the expressions, body language, and all these things, on the screen, the recruiter gets this information. This person is not confident. This person is looking at something and reading. This person is confident. He might be a good candidate for your organization. So they get the entire parameters in front of them based on, if it is an online interview, based on how you look at the camera and talk. So there's so many strategies. Psychometric is one of the interesting. We have HRs have been using from last decade. I think slowly a lot of things will come up, gaming, and you just research about HR tech. Okay, for the person who has this question, not the psychometric, a lot of strategies. Okay, so I agree, psychometric will help us filter down candidates faster and better.
Absolutely. Great. So we will take up more questions. Let's see. There are a few other questions. If you want, even you can take down if you can know any questions, Ashfaq. Yeah. If you are able to access the chat, you can also.
So I think Divyanshu Sharma, I could see the question here. The question is, so even resume was not selected, and also no reviews given. So how do we consider what are we lacking behind? Okay, so Divyanshu, let me give the answer here. See, whether if the resume is not selected and if the feedback is not given, you need to understand that we are going wrong in some direction. We are in the wrong direction. That can be, the best thing here is to approach a mentor, a career coach. Why? Because obviously they can look at your resume and see, wow, this is good, but this is not that great. That's why it's not getting selected. Yes, of course, they might ask, as a career coach, I'm also a career coach and I charge a bond for consultation charges. But just imagine, Divyanshu or anybody, you have spent 20 years of your life in education system, and you might have spent anywhere between 15 to 35 lakhs or 50 lakh rupees. Okay, and if you're just saving that 5-10,000 rupees of coaching thing because your resume is not getting selected, just imagine the cost here. You're going to lose out 20 lakh rupees and waste the time instead of just spending some 3 to 5,000, 10,000 rupees. So please make sure that if you're going applying a lot of companies, and if you're not going through the process, you need to figure out one person, or at least reach out to 10 or 5 career coaches, talk to them about this, and then you will get. I'm sure there are so many interesting career coaches in LinkedIn or in this in India, in our country, that I'm sure at least one person will be able to say and pinpoint this. Okay, this is something which you should not have. So I hope I answered the question, Devanshu.
Right. Also, I think there would be say instances where even if the resume is good, candidates don't get a call.
Yes.
So chances, from my experience, it could be because, like I mentioned in the earlier example, where the position has been filled. It could be because of that, or probably or probably it could be that something in particular in your CV is not there, or I think it could be because of the position not being there open, or you know uh, probably the HR is not considering external applications, they are considering referrals, or they are sourcing
Yes.
candidates from other sources. It could be Naukri. So I've been there. I used to get a lot of messages saying that I've applied for this job. In fact, I still get messages saying that I've applied, and I feel I'm relevant for this role, but still I'm not getting a call. So it might be that it might be because the job might be a little old. It could be 2 3 weeks old. It could be, that could be one thing, or the position has been closed and it's showing open on LinkedIn or in Naukri. That also could be the
Yeah.
case. So I think it's really important for candidates to move on, like you mentioned, Ashfaq. You
True.
could.
And one more point which I want to add here is, Faizan, ki, uh, like there's a hiring pyramid which a lot of people don't know. As a recruiter, you might know. So there's a hiring pyramid. When this hiring pyramid, in this hiring pyramid, the first stage here is obviously,
Hmm.
excuse me. So the first stage here is the recruiters look for referral leads,
Hmm.
referral from employees, referral from people, all those things. Why? Because reaching out or putting the job app, job advertisement in LinkedIn or Naukri or Monster Jobs or any other platforms is going to cost money to the organization. So as a
Absolutely.
candidate, as a fresher, you need to understand that
Hmm.
the last stage,
Hmm.
when companies are not able to recruit, that's when they will put these job advertisements in LinkedIn, Monster, and all these things. The
Correct.
best stage, the bottom of the pyramid here is referrals. And how do we get referrals? First, if and again clarity, I'll come back to the first point which we discussed, clarity. If you were clear in the beginning that okay, these are 10 companies I want to work for, and if you would have gone got the internship in one of those 10 companies, now you know some people in that one company as an intern you have worked, and you can stay in touch with them and they're seeing your work, and that's when you get a faster job thing there. Okay, you'll be able to access people faster, the job vacancies faster, and you can get referred as well. So if you want to get a job in a specific company, try to get an internship in that. That's one. So that's internal referrals. Okay, or they might ask the other employees to refer the candidates so that they don't want to spend a lot of money to on these platforms. The
Correct.
next thing here is obviously networking. Okay, networking. How different you need to know different recruiters online through LinkedIn and all that, and then and follow some 10 recruiters of those companies, the shortlisted companies. Why? Because as a recruiter, the job of a recruiter is to hit the target. Okay, I have to hire 100 people. So my job as a recruiter, I have to hire 100 people. So where do I post these things? First thing here is I'll post it in LinkedIn.
Correct.
Okay, and obviously if you're following that person, if you're connected to that person, you can easily apply for it.
Correct.
So that is networking. And then if companies are not able to hire in this range, then they approach job naukri.com and all this. So
Absolutely.
this is something which you need to think as a job seeker, as a fresher.
Right, absolutely. So, regarding referrals, even I'd like to add a few things. Again,
Hmm.
from the companies for which I've worked earlier, EY and Accenture. I'm not sure about other companies, but with EY and Accenture, I've seen referrals getting a lot of importance, and we had to prioritize referrals. So
Yes.
we used to get emails from, it could be managers, senior managers, or even VPs, asking, like, they would send an email saying that, this is a suitable candidate, just interview them. So if we missed out on that, even say one day, they would send another email. So that used to be an escalation for us. So
Yes.
I think in these two companies, I've observed that, employee referral is given like a lot of importance. And even I emphasize on this whenever I'm talking to people, or could be freshers, candidates. Try to get referrals, try to get as many referrals as possible, because they are given priority,
Yes.
over external candidates. It could be, say, if you are applying directly through a company's website, and if someone is just getting a referral, chances are that referral would get a call, uh,
Yes.
because again, this person, the one who has referred you, is already working in this company, and they have the power, or they have the control to follow up with the recruiter or with the hiring team.
Yes.
So I think that is again really important. And if you are getting a referral, make sure you eat their head until they refer you, until they get you
Yes.
an interview. So I think referral is really powerful, according to me. That's how even I got into EY. That's how I got into IBM. So I think referrals are really really powerful. If you're someone who's just trying to, or doesn't know the power, I would suggest them to give it a try to get
Yes.
referrals. I think you will see the difference.
So yeah, coming to referrals,
Hmm.
if you don't know anyone in the organization where you want to work as a student, and in fact, right now, this present era, we have platforms like LinkedIn itself, where
Correct.
we can build a relationship for a period of 6 to 8 months.
Correct.
Okay. Through just imagine, as a recruiter, if I'm posting something every single day, you just need to engage on my post every single day, and that's how you build. And one fine day, you send a message. Ashfaq, I've been reading a lot of posts about you, about your content. I learn a lot about it. I would love to speak to you over a call once, so that I can get some clarity on this particular thing of my career, and also if there's any discussion on opportunities in your organization.
Correct.
Most of the time, if you're commented and posted or interacted with the person's excuse me, so if you're interacted with the post of the person for a continued period of time, for for maybe some 30 days to 60 days,
Hmm.
the person will say yes for sure.
Hmm.
Okay, as I
Correct.
say, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So try to ask and build a rapport, and that's how you get the referral game. I'm sure the question will be next. I don't know people. How do I get the referrals? That's
Correct.
why I gave the answer right now.
Absolutely. I think that's a really, really good answer, Rashwak.
Yes, sir.
So let's see if we could take some more questions. Mm, So I see one question. What are some resources or tools available to help job seekers develop the necessary skills and mindset for a successful job hunt?
Resources and okay, skills and mindset. Okay, sure. So resources, there's so many, plenty of resources these days. There are like for technical, there's something called as Unstop, and these days there's AI tool for mock interview preparation as well. I think it's called as Interview Buddy or something. And there's also one more which was recently launched. I know the founder. It's called as Greenhorn. Okay,
Okay.
so these are some tools, or you can get into. But one thing which I really want to say here is, when it comes to resume building, okay, you need to figure out ATS. You need to figure out which are the keywords which are coming out in your resume. So I would rather say one of the best tools, which is for free of cost, okay, for you here is it's called as Word Cloud.
Okay.
Okay, Word Cloud, or the website name is called as Word It Out. I'll spell it WORDITOUT.com. So you copy paste the entire content of your resume,
Okay.
okay, and put it in the Word It Out website, and it gives the entire the entire keyword, which keywords are much more highlighted in your resume and which are not.
Correct.
And then you see this and you see the job description. If the keywords which are highlighted in the job description matches your resume, that's when you might have a match. But if you don't have a match, that's when you need to change your resume.
Correct.
So that's one of the tools which I teach in my workshops. But yeah, this is one of the things which just came up in my mind.
Right, sure. So I think you've given me some content idea for my next video.
Yes, yes.
Great, great. So I think we have like another 5 minutes. So
Okay,
we'll take. I think there's one or two more questions.
sure.
Uh, okay. After a career gap, what all things to be considered before joining a company?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So, after a career gap, like first thing you need to figure out here is, uh, what skills do you have? I mean, do you have the skills which you're looking for? If you are taking a career gap of 2 to 3 years or 5 years, whatever the reason might be, and you need to be really honest in the recruiting, especially in the interviews, because as Faizan said, we can easily get to know whether the person is lying or not.
Correct.
So, as recruiters, we have been trained, or as human beings, we have been trained to figure out whether this person is lying or not. So you need to be absolutely clear and accept the fact that you're taking a career break and you need to go ahead and get the job. Now, to get that job, what are the skills they require? And if you're not able to figure out what are the skills, let me give you a hint. Go to some 5 companies, go to the position, go to the job description, read the job description 10 times. Okay, read the job description, take the technical skills, okay, and put it in an Excel sheet and make sure that you upskill in all these 5 skills which the companies are asking for. And once you upskill in those areas, and then you put those skills in the resume, and then proceed ahead for job hunting. Or else you're just going to waste your time if you're not updated or upskilled your resume. It's not going to work out. You'll be frustrated for a longer period of time. So you need to be really strategic. And again, as Faizan and we were discussing, referral game. And I'm sure if you are taking a career gap, there must be reason. And I'm sure you might know a lot of people in the previous organization or multiple organizations. And these people might shifted to some other organization. And that's when the referral game works. So that's how you tap into your previous network. That's why they say don't burn the bridges. That means please stay in touch with your ex-colleagues, being in a positive way, and behave in a positive way towards them, even when you're leaving the organization, whether it's a HR or anybody. Just make sure you treat everyone well even when you're leaving, even if the company has not treated you well, so that one fine day can reach them out and make things, get something towards yourself. So yeah, that's how it works.
Right. I think there's another thing which they say, like the world is very small. They keep telling
Yes.
this. You never know when
Yes.
you would bump into your colleague, or it could be your boss, manager, or whatever. So it's really important to have good relations with everyone. So I've done blunders earlier in my life, but
Yes.
from the time
Everyone does that. So.
so I think from the time I came to know that I don't have to, I've been in good terms with all the people whom I'm working with.
Yes.
And another thing about career gap is what I've seen, observed on LinkedIn. HRs get a lot of hate in terms of career gap. Like candidate or HRs are not considering me because of a career gap, this that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't agree to that. In fact, I'm not sure about other HRs, but if you are asking me as an individual, I've hired a lot of people who had career gaps because they chances are well, I would like to take up or tell one case which happened with EY. So we just had one open position, and all the recent graduates were not getting like they were getting selected, but they were just dropping out. And we were
Mm-hmm.
not we tried to understand what was the reason. We were not able to get the reason. And I came across one candidate who had a career gap, I think 3 years 4 years of gap. So I never thought that she would get selected, but I was like, "ठीक है, चलो, we'll give it a try." She was like, I'm looking for a job. I'm not getting interview calls. This that. So I was like, "ठीक है, चलो, I'll give her a chance." And she got selected, and she joined the company. She's still there. She's completed, I
Mm-hmm.
think, around 1.5 years there. So I think there would be few HRs who would give opportunity, but there
Yes.
again would be few HRs who wouldn't. I think you should be able to convince them. I think
Yes.
that's again another thing, according to me.
Yeah,
And
we need to be really strategic in terms of
correct.
approaching, very strategic, and yeah, convincing HRs. There are different strategies, right? From being active 6 months before applying,
Correct.
especially for the company page, for the recruiters page, all these things. So yes, Fazan, yeah, agree with you.
Right. So I think we've completed almost an hour. So we'll probably take one last question, maybe.
Sure.
If you would like to take up any question, or how is it, Ashfaq?
I am not able to get any questions here. I can't see. I think only one question is there.
Okay.
Okay, so Shri Manjunath says, when we go into the final round and the interviewer tells us we'll get back to you, even after asking for feedback from the personal interview, they tell us that they'll inform the college placement cell, but it is never conveyed. How can we ask the interviewer in an effective way that they tell us how can we improve on our mistakes that we committed in that interview?
Hmm.
So, coming to the answer, Manjunath, see, in my training sessions, I always train my candidates on you can you don't have to wait for the answers of a recruiter.
Hmm.
Okay, just sitting down in an interview, you can figure out whether you'll be selected or not.
Right.
Okay, how? You need to be really, like, you need to be reading people. You need to know a little bit of psychology here, something called as body language. Okay, we all human beings have this body language. So sometimes hands are crossed, and sometimes like this, all the things when you're answering. So everything has a meaning. Okay, everything has a meaning. So to Manjunath, the answer here is this: you can figure out whether you're going to get selected in this company or not in the interview itself, especially in the personal interview itself. How?
Hmm.
The recruiter is asking more questions to you and is listening to you patiently.
Hmm.
Like, you might have seen or observed that there are certain interviews, like, which happened, like, maybe for your friend, the interview went for just 10 minutes. And for you, or maybe one more friend, the interview happened to go like 30 minutes or 40 minutes.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, once you go out, 30 minutes, what did he ask? Why was this? All these things. But trust me, the person whose interview went for 30 minutes,
Hmm.
the chance of that person getting selected is more. You know why? Because the recruiter was really, really interested,
Correct.
asking so many, questions. It was a discussion. So the
Correct.
possibility of you getting selected if the interview extends is
Hmm.
more. So you need to be, reading these things, and then
Correct.
you'll figure out whether you're going to get selected or not. So this is one of the ways, Manjunath, which I can say. There are a lot of things which I can talk about, but this is one of the ways. You need to be so much aware psychologically what is happening in that room,
Hmm.
that you become the observer.
Hmm.
So
Correct.
yeah, what do you say, Fazan?
I totally echo with you, Ashfaq. So
Yes.
in fact, this is my daily job role. I have to call candidates, and I think the more I talk to the candidate, obviously the chances of him getting shortlisted become high, because they
Yes.
are able to answer my questions. And
Yes.
say if the call is very short, it could be 2 3 minutes or 4 5 minutes. Chances are that I've rejected you, and
Yes.
I'm just trying to wrap the call as soon as I can.
There you go.
Okay. And
It's similar to all the freshers. It's similar like dating. Okay, if the date goes for a longer period of time, that means the other party is interested, and if it's a shorter period of time, you'll be ghosted. And the same psychology you can apply in the recruiting game as well. What do you say, Faizan?
yes, yes, absolutely, Ashfaq. I had a colleague. I just like to tell, probably end this with this story. there was one of my friend. So we used to hire for BPO. So communication was the only thing which we used to check. And this
Okay.
person, with the person just telling hello, he used to gauge his communication or his or her communication skills. Just within
Yes.
5 seconds, if the communication is good, he used to talk. If not, he used to disconnect. He
That's
didn't
it.
even tell bye, nothing. Hello, his communication on cut. I was like, dude, you at least tell them that they are rejected. Hey, no, let them think whatever they want to. But I used to, I didn't used to do this. I used to at least talk to the candidates for at least 1 or 2 minutes, and then I used to, disconnect. But yeah, I think
Yes.
lesser the time, chances are that you've been rejected. If the time is more, chances are that you've been shortlisted. So I think
Yes.
I would totally echo with that, Ashfaq.
Yes,
So I
Faizan.
think, well, we are beyond time. Any piece of advice you'd like to tell for the audience? Could be for freshers, or any job seeker, Ashfaq. Final
Okay.
messages.
Yes, the final message here is this, like, for all the job seekers or freshers, there are a couple of things, just like how, if you're into sales, you need to sell. For example, you need to sell this mic. There are features, there are ways, there are posters, banners which we create and sell. There are pricing, all these things. And same thing for you as a candidate. You're the product. You need to figure out what are your features. Features are nothing but your skills.
Correct.
Okay. For example, this phone has a 60 megapixel or 10 megapixel, whatever it is, those are features. And similarly, your features are your skills. So this phone might have hundreds of features. Can I market hundreds of features in every poster? No, not possible. There might be some two, three features which are really standing out from the competition. Okay. These are the features which the company markets well. See, for example, Apple phone itself, you can read for, the marketing psychology here. There are advertisements, separate advertisements for different categories of people. Apple has created certain posters only for Gen Z and millennials.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, for them it's all about taking pictures, cool, all these things. Okay, and suddenly the same poster design or the ads for people who are above 45 or 50 is for security, the most secure phone for you. Why? Because obviously they might have so much confidential data, finance related stuff. So security is the way things they market. So you need to be strategic as a fresher, as a job seeker, which skills you're going to market to which organization. So
Right.
you need to always keep on changing your poster. Your poster is nothing but your resume.
Absolutely. It was a very, I think, useful concluding message for the audience, Ashfaq.
Yes.
Great, great. So I think with that, we would end this, live event. So thank you everyone for your messages, and probably the ones which we've missed out. I'll try to take it up, or probably Ashwak will try to take up a few questions from the chat. And yeah,
Yes. So
you yeah.
yes. So if you had asked some question and if I'm not able to see or if I was not able to ask, you can always DM us.
Sure,
And
sure.
if you DM, even if I don't reply through text, I might send you an audio note. Okay, so that's faster for me. So if you have any question related to your career or anything, you can always DM me or Faizan. And yeah, thank you very much, Faizan, for calling me, and thank you for all the listeners for listening to me so patiently. Thank you very much, Faizan.
Thank you so much, Ashwak. So with this, we'll end the session. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.